Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Friday night at It's a Crime. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Linda, and we are going to let the people roll in and take a few minutes, but instead of having dead air, we'll talk about it. Or we'll talk about some things about the channel. I just want to say a giant thank you to everybody. We have hit 80,000 subscribers, so our family is growing. I'm very happy. I'm so proud of the community. You guys are just really loving, really great, really high vibing people. So for that, I thank you. So hello, everybody. Nice to see you guys on a Friday night. Now, you will notice, hopefully, that I've upgraded my stream a little bit. Actually, just 1 second. Let me double check to make sure. I should be public. Sorry, guys, 1 sec. I'm doing a new software, so I just want to make sure everything's cool. Because sometimes I don't get it right on that. So I might have to say my spiel all over again. Okay, looks like we're okay. Just double checking. All right. We're good? Okay. The chat should not be too fast because I did do a new setting. So hopefully I got that one right. Anyways, there we go. Now it looks like it's all working. So I have upgraded my stream just a little bit. Phase 1, I got a dongle for my Mac, and now we can do some really cool stuff. And like that. Look at that. Lindsay says, hey, I've never caught your live. Always have to watch your replays. Sweet. So woohoo, we got it. I just want to thank any of the mods who are in here. Keep it classy. We're going to go through a couple things. Number 1 is the unsealed affidavit of Chad Daybell. And I had a read before we came on tonight. I'm going to read it through, and then we're going to talk about it if you guys are all cool with that. There's a little bit in there. There's a lot of bit in there, but there's a little bit in there is a little bit graphic, I should say. So I'm just going to let you guys know that. And as I read, hopefully I will remember to just notify you guys of that. So let's just dive right in, and we'll start reading it, and then we can have a talk and we can discuss some things. So let me just go in through here. I'm going to start right from the beginning, and we're just going to read it. And then I'll make sure I can see some of your comments as well in between. So starts off County of Madison. I, Lieutenant Ron Ball of the Rexburg Police Department, being first duly sworn under oath, depose and state as follows. Number 1, the information contained herein is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. 2, I am a detective with the Rexburg Police Department and have been employed in law enforcement for more than 27 years. I am currently the lieutenant over investigations for the Rexburg Police Department. I currently hold an advanced certificate and a management certificate from the Idaho Peace Officers Standards and Training Academy and have over 2,500 hours of training. I have attended multiple trainings and classes throughout my career, including graduating from the FBI National Academy in 2015. I have received multiple hours of specialized training in investigations. I have also conducted numerous investigations and interviews with suspects, victims, and witnesses involving narcotics, sex crimes, and fraud. I have also received numerous hours of training on traffic stops and detection of criminal behavior. And then number 3, I respectfully ask the court to take notice of the PC affidavit in Madison County case number, gives the case number, a copy of which has been attached. Number 4, since November 26, 2019, the Rexburg Police Department has been involved in the search for J.J. Vallow, date of birth, May 25, 2012, and Tylee Ryan, date of birth, September 24th, 2002. The minor children's mother, Lori Vallow, has been charged with 2 felony counts of desertion of a minor child, 1 misdemeanor count of resisting and obstructing, 1 misdemeanor count of solicitation to commit a crime, and 1 misdemeanor count of contempt. The contempt charge is for failing to comply with an order in child protection action in Madison County, Idaho, to produce JJ and Tylee to the Rexburg Police or the Department of Health and Welfare. She was required to produce the children by January 30th, 2020. Tylee was 17 at the time, and she went missing. At the time she went missing, and JJ was 7 when he went missing. Number 5, Chad Daybell was present in Kauai, Hawaii on February 20th, 2020, when Lori Vallow was arrested on the felony desertion charges. I was present at the arrest. Daybell was also present at the March 6th initial appearance in Madison County, Idaho. As such, I know that Chad Daybell was aware of felony charges directly related to the location, health, and well-being of the minor children named above. Since November 26, 2019, the Rexburg Police Department, along with the FBI, have been investigating the location and whereabouts of these 2 minor children. The last verifiable sighting of Tylee Ryan was on September 8, 2019 in Yellowstone National Park. The last verifiable sighting of JJ Vallow was September 22nd, 2019 in his mother's apartment located at 565 Pioneer Road, number 175, Rexburg, Idaho, by Lori's friend, Melanie Gibb. Just going to write something down for a sec here on this so we can talk about that. Unless you want to talk about that right now. But just side note, they're saying a verifiable sighting of JJ Vallow was September 22nd. There was reports of him being in school on that Monday on the 23rd. So I'm curious about that, but we'll continue on. While the Rexburg Police and FBI have received many tips of alleged sightings since the beginning of the case, none of these tips have led to any verifiable or actionable information regarding the health, safety, or location of the minor children. Lori Vallow moved to Rexburg on or about September 1st, 2019 with her children, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow, and her brother, Alex Cox. Lori resided with her children at 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 175, Rexburg, Idaho. Alex Cox resided in the same complex, initially living in the same unit as Lori and then moving into his own unit at 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 107, Rexburg, Idaho. Lori Vallow's close friend Melanie Gibb has cooperated with Idaho and Arizona law enforcement regarding the investigation of the children. Melanie Gibb has reported that from September 19th, 2019 through the morning of September 23rd, 2019, she visited Lori Vallow at her new residence in Rexburg, Idaho. Gibb reports that when she arrived in Rexburg, Lori Vallow informed her that JJ Vallow had become a zombie. Gibb further reports that the term zombie refers to an individual whose mortal spirit has left their body and that their body is now the host of another spirit. The new spirit in a zombie is always considered a dark spirit. While the dark spirit inhabits the host body, the person's true spirit goes into limbo and is stuck there until the host body is physically killed. As such, death of the physical body is seen as the mechanism by which the body's original spirit can be released from limbo. This belief was told to Gibb by Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow had learned it from Chad Daybell and immediately told Gibb. Gibb was present with Lori Vallow when Chad Daybell first taught Lori this information over the phone in early 2019 in reference to Charles Vallow. And we did see Melanie Gibb talk about this in her interview. And she did talk, and also in my past video, we talked about how she went down to visit Lori, and immediately Lori said that JJ became a zombie on September 18th, the day before Melanie Gibb went down to visit. So we'll keep going. Are you guys doing okay so far? Okay. Okay, we'll keep going. Okay. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that Lori Vallow called Tylee a zombie in the spring of 2019. Gibb was on the phone with Lori and heard Lori call Tylee a zombie, to which Tylee responded, "Not me, Mom." This arose out of Lori requiring Tylee to babysit JJ, and Tylee did not want to. Lori Vallow also told Gibb that Tylee had turned into a zombie when she was 12 or 13. which was approximately the same time Tylee had become difficult to deal with. Side note, it's called being a teenager. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that she was told by Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow that they held the religious belief that they were part of the Church of the Firstborn, and their mission in that church was to lead the 144,000 mentioned in the book of Revelation. They also stated their mission was to rid the world of zombies. On January 26, 2020, a search warrant was served on Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow in Kauai, where they were living and on their vehicle. The children were not found with Chad and Lori in Hawaii, and no evidence was found to suggest they were living with Chad and Lori. Through this investigation, we have discovered that JJ Vallow was registered at Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg the first week of September 2019. Kennedy School was informed that JJ had an individual education plan due to his autism. Kennedy Elementary was in the process of creating a new IEP for JJ. On September 23rd, 2019, JJ had an unexcused absence. Okay, that's big. On September 24th, 2020, Lori Vallow called Vicki Barton of the Madison School District and informed her that JJ was going to Louisiana with his grandparents and wouldn't be home until the end of October and maybe later. On October 29th, Madison School District was informed that JJ would be homeschooled. During searches of Lori's apartment in Rexburg and subsequent searches of her apartment in Kauai, no evidence of homeschooling material was ever found. No other school district has ever requested JJ's records from the Madison School District. I'm just going to check on you before I go to the next part. So this part is big because before there was reports that JJ actually went to school on Monday the 23rd, but here it's saying he actually had an unexcused absence. I agree with you, Georgia. Interesting, none of Chad's children are zombies because it didn't fit his scheme, in my opinion. All right, we'll keep reading. As mentioned, the last verifiable sighting of Tylee Ryan was in Yellowstone National Park on September 8, 2019. Photographs established she was there with her mother, Lori Vallow, her brother, JJ Vallow, and her uncle, Alex Cox. They drove there in Alex's silver Ford F-150. This trip was further established by tracking the GPS, cell tower connections, and Google account information on Alex Cox's phone. The Cellular Analysis Survey Team, hereinafter CAST, is an FBI unit that provides analysis of cell phone records and presents the information to law enforcement. CAST has analyzed Alex Cox's phone and provided the location information mentioned in paragraph 13. The CAST analysis provides the location of Cox's phone. Due to my training and experience and common knowledge, I am aware that most individuals now keep their cell phones with them at all times, and the location of an individual's phone can be used to establish the location of the owner of the phone. CAST uses a cellular device's GPS data points, cell tower connections, Wi-Fi connections, and Google tracking information to establish the location of a cell phone. The GPS data points used by CAST are considered to be highly accurate and can place the device within a 6-meter radius. CAST has further informed law enforcement that Cox's phone exited the west entrance of Yellowstone National Park at 1840. His phone appeared to be at Buckaroo's Barbecue Grill in West Yellowstone, Montana from 1845 to 1902. Cox then returns to Rexburg at approximately 2037. The phone is then at Lori's apartment number 175 until 2135. At which time Cox appeared to go to the Maverick on Main Street in Rexburg at 2143 until 2153. Cox then went back to Lori's apartment from 2244 to 2315. At 2344, Cox is located at his residence in apartment 107. On Monday, September 9th, from midnight and 0:44 hours, Cox's phone was located at his apartment, which is 107. However, at 2:42 a.m., to 3:37 a.m., Cox is located again at Lori's apartment, where Lori lived with Tylee and JJ. This is significant not only because he's there in the middle of the night, but also because this is the only time in September he appears to go over to Lori's between midnight and 6 a.m. At 4:37 a.m., Alex went back to his own apartment, Unit 107, until 8:59. At 9:21, he was located at a property with the address 202 North 1900 East, Rexburg, which is the residence of Chad Daybell. It should be noted that while Chad Daybell's address is listed as Rexburg, it is actually located in Fremont County, Idaho. The 9:21 reading is a GPS data point and places him behind the home on Daybell's property near the east end of the barn. So I'm just going to check in with you guys again for a sec. Yeah, do you guys want? Yeah, sure. I'll give you the. Oh, let me just see. I'll see the full. Let me just get you the next. Let's see if I could find this for you. Because he had it on Twitter, but he made it jumbled. Okay, I'm going to give you that for you guys, and then we can continue on. So far, they're saying in the middle of the night, Chad went over to Lori's house, went back to his apartment, and then after 9:21 a.m. was on Chad Daybell's property. So we will continue on. Michigan 12 says, oh, I missed it. Sorry, I just missed that. Michigan 12 said something about there's going to be a Dateline episode this weekend, right? Thank you for the super chat. I don't know why it left the comment for some reason. So thank you. And it is on Monday night. I don't know the time yet. Perhaps you do know. Ashley says, love you, Linda. So glad I finally caught a live. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Alex Cox's phone was still at the Daybell residence at 10:39. At 10:47, his phone shows a hit at the city of St. Anthony. At this time, we were unable to tell if he was actually inside the city limits of St. Anthony. St. Anthony's about a 5-minute drive from the Daybell residence, or if this was a cell tower ping on his phone while he was still at the Daybell residence. At 10:57 to 11:39, Cox is located at the Daybell property. At 11:52 a.m. to 12:02, he was at Del Taco in Rexburg. He appears to spend most of the rest of the day in his apartment. Through this investigation, the Rexburg Police Department and FBI have seized, searched, and analyzed multiple cellular devices pursuant to several warrants. On June 1st, 2020, I was informed by Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI that the FBI had been examining a phone believed to be owned by Tamara Tammy Daybell. Tammy was Chad's wife and died on October 19th, 2019. The FBI found a text conversation between Tammy and her husband, Chad Daybell, on September 9th, 2019, which is the day after the last known sighting of Tylee Ryan in Yellowstone National Park. So here's what the text conversation reads. Chad to Tammy at 11:53 a.m. Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times. Chad then says to Tammy 3 minutes later at 11:56, gonna shower now and then go right for a while at BYU. Love you. Tammy messages Chad back a few hours later at 2:47 p.m. and says, good for you. Chad says a minute later, I'm back home now. Then it says on number 21, I found the text suspicious because raccoons are normally nocturnal animals and are not regularly out during the day. It should be noted that from interviewing neighbors of Chad Daybell, we are aware that in mid-July of 2019, Garth Daybell, Chad's son, told their neighbors that Chad had shot a raccoon out of a tree on their property during the day. Those neighbors are named Matt and Regan Price. Garth told Matt Price about the raccoon in response to a question from Matt about hearing a gunshot. The Prices informed me that the fire pit in the back of the Daybell property was hardly ever used until the last few months. Regan informed me that there appeared to be frequent bonfires in the pit on the Daybell property over the last few months, and the first one she noticed was soon after Tammy's death on October 19th, 2019. And Matthew Price is the one who was doing the, I'm pretty sure that he's the one who was doing the interview talking about the bonfires. I believe that was him. On June 2nd, 2020, Detective Bruce Mattingly of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office contacted Samantha Williams, who is the sister of Tammy Daybell. He asked her if she was aware of a pet cemetery on Chad and Tammy Daybell's property in Idaho. She informed him that she was aware of the pet cemetery and stated that both she and Tammy were pet people and that they had both had pet cemeteries. When asked the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property, she stated that it was to the east of the Red Barn and near the fire pit. On June 4th, 2020, I spoke with Samantha and she informed me that she was aware of the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property because Tammy had shown it to her. Samantha was then shown an aerial photograph of the Daybell property, and she pointed to the same area near the fire pit where Alex Cox's phone pinged on September 9th, 2019. The above facts establish that Alex Cox appeared to be at the Daybell property on September 9th, 2019 until at least 11:39 a.m. Chad sent the text to Tammy about burning debris and shooting and burying the raccoon in the pet cemetery only 14 minutes later at 11:53. The pet cemetery referenced by Chad Daybell is located at the same location as most of the pings on Alex Cox's phone on September 9th, 2019. Okay, now we're going to check in. Okay, you guys are doing okay? Okay, we're going to keep going. On June 3rd, 2020, I interviewed Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend David Warwick in Pleasant Grove, Utah. We discussed in depth the weekend of September 22nd and 23rd, 2019, due to the fact that both Gibb and Warwick stayed at Lori Vallow's residence in Rexburg that weekend. Gibb informed me, consistent with information she has previously given to law enforcement, that she arrived in Rexburg on September 19th, 2019. Soon after she arrived, Lori Vallow informed Gibb that JJ had become a zombie and pointed out behaviors such as sitting still and watching TV, claiming JJ said he loved Satan and an increased vocabulary as evidence that JJ was now a zombie. Gibb observed JJ's behavior and felt it to be the same as she had always observed it. And she did say this in her previous interview as well. The last time Gibb and Warwick verifiably saw JJ was the night of September 22nd, 2019. Warwick informed us that it was late and that Gibb, Vallow, and Warwick were going to do a podcast. Warwick said that JJ was acting up, and so Alex Cox took JJ to his apartment in the complex. When Alex returned later that night, he was carrying JJ, who appeared to be asleep with his head on Alex's shoulder. Warwick specifically remembered this because he saw it as a tender moment. Warwick further informed us that when he woke up the morning of September 23rd, 2019, he asked Lori where JJ was. This was between 8 and 9 a.m. Lori informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen cabinetry and had gotten on top of the cabinetry in the space between the cabinetry and the ceiling. She informed Warwick and Gibb that when JJ had climbed upon the cabinetry, that he had knocked a picture of Jesus off the refrigerator. Vallow then informed Warwick and Gibb that Alex had come and taken JJ. The FBI CAS team has analyzed Alex Cox's movements the morning of September 23, 2019 by his cell phone GPS. At 9:55 a.m., Alex is again on Chad Daybell's property. He was there until 10:12. The pings on his phone locate Alex near the pond on Chad's property at the northern edge of his property. On June 3rd, 2020, I asked Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI to analyze the frequency of Alex Cox's visits to Chad Daybell's property during the month of September 2019. His response was, "Per your request, I checked the visits by Alex to Chad's house again. There were only 4 visits by Alex during the month of September. These were on September 6th between 12:41 and 12:53, September 9th, September 23rd, and September 25th from 10:05 a.m. to 10:22. During the 2 visits on September 6th and the 25th, all the pings were in and around the house, and there were no pings anywhere in the backyard near the fire pit or pond. As you can see, these visits were also short, about 11 minutes and 17 minutes, like the one on September 23rd, which was 17 minutes. The visit on September 9th was the only long visit, approximately 2.5 hours. On June 9th, 2020, a search warrant was executed at Chad Daybell's residence and property. With the assistance of a local FBI ERT team, we located at least multiple sites of interest. These sites were identified and corresponded to the cellular data of Alex Cox's phone when he was on the property mentioned in paragraphs 12 to 16. Additionally, one of the possible sites correlated to a location on the property Chad had texted his wife about, mentioned in paragraphs 17 and 18. The first site of interest was located on the north side of the pond near the north edge of the property. This site corresponded with the 2 GPS pings from Alex Cox's phone on September 23rd, 2019, which is the day JJ disappeared. A patch of ground was located that appeared to be disturbed. The weed growth on top of the disturbed ground was shorter than the surrounding weed growth. What appeared to be sod etching was also noticed. The disturbed area was approximately 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Members of the FBI ERT team removed the top layer of sod. Underneath the layer of sod were several large flat rocks. The rocks were removed and 2 pieces of flat paneling were found. The paneling was removed and investigators exposed a round object covered in black plastic. Okay, so this is where it's going to be not so good. So I'm just going to warn you. Upon exposing the round object covered in black plastic, a strong odor was noticed. A FBI ERT member used a small sharp instrument and made a small incision in the plastic, and layer of white plastic was observed. An incision was made into the white layer of plastic, exposing what appeared to be human remains, the crown of a head covered in light brown hair. The remaining dirt around this object was methodically removed, exposing what appeared to be a body wrapped in black plastic. The plastic appeared to be tightly wrapped around the body and secured with gray duct tape. Cheryl Anderson, Associate Professor of Anthropology at Boise State University, was present on scene and advised the remains found near the pond appeared to be human. A second site of interest was located behind a red unattached outbuilding located roughly in the center of the property near a fire pit. Next to the fire pit is an area used as a pet cemetery. This site correlated to several GPS pings of Alex Cox's phone on September 9, 2019, the day after Tylee was missing, or last seen. Ground in this area was probed with a steel pole, and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During a search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found. A backhoe was used to dig further layers of dirt. While doing this, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. Once the bricks were discovered, the soil was examined and what appeared to be 2 bones were located. Based on the condition of the bones, Cheryl Anderson was not able to determine whether the bones were human. Methodically, the dirt in this area was searched and several other items of interest were found, including other bones, charred tissue, and charred bones. Cheryl Anderson indicated that these additional bones, both charred and uncharred, and tissue found, were human remains. Investigators provided photos of some of the partial remains that were found at the pet cemetery to Sarah Getz, PhD, a forensic anthropologist. Dr. Getz was able to identify those remains as being non-adult human remains. While officers were conducting their search, Chad Daybell was observed by officers to be continuously watching where officers were searching. He was observed watching officers while sitting in his vehicle in his front driveway and while sitting in his vehicle across the street at his daughter's residence. Around the time the head mentioned in paragraphs 32 and 33 was discovered, Chad Daybell was observed leaving his daughter's residence in a gray SUV. I and other officers pursued him in police vehicles, conducted a traffic stop, and detained him due to the fact that human remains were discovered on his property. Yet his lawyer, John Pryor, says he didn't flee. He didn't abscond. I haven't seen any history of Chad fleeing. Got to put that in there because you know I'm angry at this point. So we're going to come back. So that is the affidavit, and it shows us a lot of information on Alex Cox, on Chad Daybell, on Lori Vallow. What's interesting, like I said, was that September 22nd, September 23rd date, because it was reported that September 23rd was the last time that JJ went to school. And I have said that in previous videos. It's like, weird. Why go on a Monday and then take him out Tuesday when we're trying to figure this all out, right? But he never even made it. He never even made it to school. And I did wonder that morning too, when Melanie Gibb was there, that, what time she flew out. And there wasn't any mention of the boyfriend there up until this affidavit. Before, it was just that she was there. There was no mention of the boyfriend, publicly anyways, that I saw. And what was also interesting that I found out is on September 18th. So Melanie Gibb comes to visit September 19th to September 23rd. I guess now with her boyfriend, David Warwick. The day before she got there, the day that she got there, there was a report of a woman saying that she shared a flight with Chad Daybell on September 19th from Idaho Falls to Mesa, Arizona. And they had a full conversation about his books and about his about religion and that kind of thing. And she's stating that she took this flight September 19th, headed to Mesa, and he was saying he was going to Arizona to help a family friend do a renovation. And he talked about not doing doomsday books anymore, and that he's going to take another route, another path, so to speak. My question about is, where the heck are you going on September 19th? And how long did you go there for? And was this person, in Mesa, that was a family friend or family? Did they know Lori? Who was that? I want to know how long he was gone for, because I'm very curious about this. My bet, obviously, is, just a guess, in my opinion, is he's back before the 22nd and 23rd, So I did find that out. Now I'm going to find out more, or I'm going to try when he got back, how long he was gone for, who did he visit, you know, that kind of thing. So there's that. So we have that weekend. And then where's Alex taken? Now, I did mention in my other video as well, this would have been around, oh geez, I don't remember which video. Okay, I almost did 40 videos. I don't remember which one. But remember, we kept talking about, for those of you who saw my videos, apartment 107. We kept saying, why do they keep saying apartment 107, apartment 107? Because on November 26th, they went and did the welfare check, right? And they were asking Alex and Chad, you know, where's Lori? Oh, I saw JJ. Last I saw JJ was in apartment 107. Maybe Lori's in apartment 107. They all go to apartment 107. It's empty. And that was in November. But it was registered to Alex Cox. Interestingly, let's just bring up Melanie Pawlowski for a minute, because she says in one of her interviews, I believe it was, she says about 175, which is right next door to where her apartment is. She kept saying, well, I think Alex and Lori both live in 175. So what the heck were you doing in apartment 107, right? So this is just things that I think about. It's so weird that it's almost like a movie where you're like, no, go look at them in 107. I think it's apartment 107. I saw them last. If you want Lori, 107. You know, it's that kind of thing. It's weird. Super weird. Tina says, I'm devastated and sad about the children's body. It's awful. It's absolutely horrific, awful, and how they can just be seen going to Hawaii, playing the freaking ukulele and smiling and all this. I mean, it's disgusting. Now, here's the other little info snack that we're gonna talk about for a minute. My goodness, there's 7,000 people on here. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for joining me on Friday night. I'm sorry that it's crappy news, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Here's the other thing, okay? Because I don't know if you've seen my Melanie video from yesterday, but I do highly recommend go checking it out, because she made a statement. And then after I found out, okay, I did do the pattern. If you guys seen it, you saw that I created the pattern. I didn't create the pattern. I exposed the pattern, how much like Lori she is, right? They both kind of get separated around the same time. Charles dies, Brandon goes and has his attempt made on his life. Lori moves to Rexburg, Melanie moves to Rexburg. Her children go missing, and well, Melanie didn't get to see her children, thankfully. And here's the other thing that we found out, because she's talking in circles, and she talks in circles and circles and circles. But here's the thing. Melanie was in Hawaii in October with Lori Vallow Daybell. That's in a court document. It doesn't have the particulars yet, but that's in a court document. Melanie Gibb is talking about how she's going to testify, and she's going to talk about how Melanie Pawlowski was in Hawaii with Lori Vallow Daybell in October. I'm going to rip that one apart. You know I am. Oh, yes. VP Hussy Mouse says, would I please post a link for this document? Absolutely. Here you go. This is where I got it. Hopefully you guys see that and it's okay. Thank you, Andrea. Okay, so this is starting to unravel. And I want to know now, Melanie makes mention on October 9th, that's the last time she's seen her kids. And then there's a bunch of stuff that happens. Let's see if I have it on my, I might not have it on this one. Then a bunch of things happen in between. There's kind of some blank areas from October 9th to about October 31st. So I'm going to be looking into that as well. You know I'm going to dig. So, It's just absolutely disgusting. What year was Melanie in Hawaii with Lori? Yes, 2019, October 2019 is what they're saying, that she was in Hawaii with Lori. So I don't know how long, if Lori just like, she went there, came back, obviously went and got married, or stayed there over Halloween. I don't know yet. I want to know, obviously, what happened there. Manglia says, I am disappointed in Melanie Gibbs. She could have reported them. I am so sad. Yeah, absolutely. So this makes it really worse, right? I mean, oh, you don't know where the kids are, yet their rooms are perfect, and now you're in Hawaii, but you didn't mention that. So now you really would have to wonder where the kids are, right? I tell you, you guys, I just, the more I read into her, the more I'm like, So, looks like there's a whole lot going on. Yeah. What do you guys think of these little things that pop up? It's awesome. You guys probably seen lots of other streams, not mine. This is my part 1 of upgrading the live streams. And there's 7,300 people on, so welcome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm really happy you guys can join me, and we're having a full discussion about Tylee, JJ, Chad Daybell, and Alex. This is, it's surprising and not surprising. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Melly Doe says, thank you for being the voice of the voiceless. With your heart and soul, you bring the light for these angels to fly to heaven with their dads. You are the hero of the voices. Thank you. I don't know why I can't highlight that comment. I'm not sure. I'm learning. Some I can, some of the super chats I'm not sure. I can't. Thank you so much. And yes, if you guys are just joining me, I read out the affidavit for Chad Daybell, and we hit 80,000 subscribers today. So thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, and then you'll get notified of my next videos, because I'm doing more deep dives. Absolutely. Thank you, Run Amok Girl. Okay, so here's the thing, right? There's more to this story. There's more, and I found out more about today. I got to read this to you, because remember Julie Rowe? Julie Rowe has been speaking about Chad. They were friends. They're no longer friends. She's speaking out now more on a different level. This does not surprise me about Chad, but let's talk about this. So I'm going to read you a little excerpt. It says, cult mom husband Chad Daybell made advances to a married woman before meeting Lori Vallow, former friend tells Nancy Grace. This is on Crime Online. Okay. A close former friend of Doomsday author Chad Daybell says that the husband of cult mom Lori Vallow made sexual advance toward her and other women before meeting Vallow and before his wife's mysterious death. Julie Rowe, an author and self-proclaimed clairvoyant, spoke to Crime Online's Nancy Grace for her upcoming Fox Nation special, A Lori Vallow Investigation with Nancy Grace. I'll have to find out when that is. Daybell and Vallow are in jail in Idaho. Daybell on charges of concealment or destruction of evidence, and Vallow with desertion and non-support of dependent children, resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court. It says, Rowe told Grace that there was another woman in Arizona before Lori Vallow whom Chad had been texting. That went haywire when the woman's husband intercepted the text and told Daybell he'd go public with them if Daybell didn't leave his wife alone. Rowe, who said Daybell had also made sexual advances toward her, said that as far as she knew, she and the Arizona woman were the only people Daybell told about a vision he said he'd have about Tammy's death. I'm seeing a pattern, Grace says. You work closely with him, you're attractive, and bam, suddenly he remembers, hey, I was married to you in another life. Seems to be his line, isn't it? Then there's Lori Vallow. Then there's the other lady you told me of that. That's 3 right there. The charges against Daybell and Vallow could change now that the investigators have confirmed that remains found in Daybell's backyard last week were those of Vallow's missing children, 7-year-old JJ Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan. Grace's interview with Rowe took place before the remains were identified. Daybell married Vallow last fall, just weeks after Tammy Daybell died, and her death came a few weeks after the children were last seen. Daybell and Vallow were clear to marry after Tammy's death because Vallow's husband, Charles Vallow, had been shot to death in the summer. Investigators have exhumed Tammy Daybell's body for an autopsy, but results have not returned. Rowe said that she used to visit the Daybells often in Idaho until one day Chad Daybell told her not to because Tammy was off her antidepressants and had become very jealous. This is where it gets... Okay, I have 2 things to tell you. Okay, here we go. And then there was the time he referenced needing the spouses, plural, to be gone. I was very disturbed at something he said to me in 2018, Rowe said. He was frustrated and he said, I feel like the plans can't move on until the spouses are gone. 3 weeks before Tammy Daybell's death, Rowe said she spoke with Chad Daybell. He said in a frustrated, almost angry voice, very frustrated, I feel like my plan can't move on until Tammy has died. 3 years earlier, Daybell told Rowe about the vision he had about Tammy. He said he'd had a vision that she passed away and he thought she was going to die in a car accident. Now, where did I read another spot about what he actually did, but if I can't find it, I will explain it in here. So basically what Julie is saying is that Chad forcefully kissed her and rubbed his parts all over her, and she was disgusted, and that was it. So that's what she's saying. Now, the funny thing is, I won't say funny, but the interesting thing is, it's right up Chad's lawyer's alley because Chad's lawyer did the same thing. Allegedly, he got charged for, and for doing that to a woman in his office. So, yeah, I remember I talked about this before where the guy, like, Chad's at his event and he's puffing his chest, feeling all big manly. And Lori comes like, oh my God, I love your books. I love them. Right. And he's just like, Lori, he sees this blonde woman that he's attracted to. And he's like, yes, we have been married so many times before. We have. You have been my wife over and over. And she's excited about that, right? And I mean, and then from there it goes downhill. So what Julie's saying is he did the same thing to another woman in Arizona. But the husband catches winds like, yeah, no, I don't think so. So seems to me like Chad boy likes the married women, and I mean, he's done it this many times. How many times has he done it in the 30 years that he's actually been married to Tammy? It's disgusting. So it's super ridiculous. Right? And I do wonder now too, okay, now that we're talking about the Arizona woman that he mentioned, is that the one he was going to visit in September? Like, I don't know. Sweet Home Alamanda says, you're doing a great job. I'm heading out because I was timed out for no reason. Oh, I don't know what happened there, girl. No idea. Thank you. What do you guys think about this? I mean, I get heated up. I'm super heated up about this. Are we to believe the autopsy reports that explain death accused as a result of natural causes? Yeah, did Tammy know? Did Charles know about the affair? Charles, Kay Woodcock said she was aware that Charles was aware that there was some infidelity going on. If you guys have just popped in, there's a lot of people in here. We just went over Chad Daybell's unsealed arrest affidavit. And I was talking a little bit about Julie Rowe. She's saying that Chad came on to her and she was actually insulted, you know, like she was surprised and was just disgusted by his behavior. And he's apparently done this to another woman, which, I mean, if he's done this many times, I mean, there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more with him, in my opinion. The link to the affidavit, absolutely. That's where I got it from. And welcome aboard. I love breakfast at Tiffany's. You're a new member to my crime ring. Welcome. If you guys are wondering what the little green things popped up, I do have my membership for It's a Crime, and there's 4 different tiers. You can see it. It'll explain the different tiers, and if you want to join, you can join. We'd love to have you. It's a bunch of little perks and whatnot. So, so there's a lot going on. I mean, now July is going to be a busy month. July, we have July 1st, we have Chad Daybell, and July 2nd. July 9th and 10th are Lori Vallow. And now we have Melanie Boudreau in the afternoon of July 1st. So Mama's going to be busy. Everybody's going to be busy. And Melanie Gibbs testifying, and she's in the court documents with Brandon Boudreau. And she's saying that she's going to talk about preparing a people. I have that. Just one sec. Let's see if I can find it for you guys. Hang on. I was working on another video today when, of course, this pops up. So there's all kinds of stuff I got going on here. Because I still got to do the Melanie, she did that 7-page letter, and I'm going to dive into it. And if you guys want to see any of my playlist, you can go in the description below, and it should show the playlist of the Lori Vallow case. I have like 40. I think it's around 40, maybe just under. Yeah, so here's what it says in the document. It says, Miss Gibb will testify regarding her knowledge as to preparing a people, mother's involvement, which is Melanie Boudreau, Melanie Pulowski, mother's involvement with preparing a people, Miss Gibb's conversations with mother regarding the attempt on father's life, mother's beliefs, mother's travel to Hawaii in October to spend time with Lori Vallow Daybell, and all other aspects of this case to which she has direct knowledge. So looks like there's another can of you know what coming. Yes, Stephanie, absolutely. She says, I have a lot more questions for Melanie Gibb. She now appears more culpable than in her interview with Nate. Well, it's kind of, it's hard. Melanie Gibbs is harder in a sense because in a way she did come. She's telling people she went to the police first, you know, but She did go in December, my understanding, but she, you know, she's coming forward. The difference is, in my opinion, with Melanie Gibb and Melanie Pawlowski is Melanie Gibb's more forthcoming, maybe not total details, but more forthcoming, whereas Melanie Pawlowski seems to just twist and spurt out stuff, if that makes sense. So yeah, and so Jackie makes a really good point. So this is it. Okay, all of a sudden it just flipped about Tylee being in September, right? Okay, so let's talk about this timeline a little bit, because you know me and timelines. October 19th is when Tammy died. But September 9th and September 23rd are two major dates. So, but the first time Chad said there was a raccoon. So what was the second time? Who was around there? And what did Tammy know, if anything? I mean, first time, obviously, she thought it was a raccoon. Trinity says, with all the phones Lori always had it possible, Chad had Alex's phone as a setup on Alex and sent text from his phone to look innocent. With all the phones Lori always had, it is possible Chad had Alex's phone as a setup on Alex and sent text from his phone to look innocent. You make a good point. I mean, I don't know. However, Alex's phone was on him and he was seen on camera at Yellowstone. Right? And thank you, Trinity. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm working on a new a new software, so I'm learning. I'm learning. So if I miss you, I'm so sorry. It's jumping, but I'm starting to figure it out. Michelle says, how could Tammy be so blind to all of this? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's just, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I mean, maybe Chad's always kind of done that. They did have a pet cemetery in there, and isn't that interesting that it was actually Tammy's sister that talked about the pet cemetery, and that's where they found where to go, because we were wondering that, right? Where do they go? How did they know to go right there? So Queen V says, hey, Miss Linda, it's V out of Sacramento. Hello. I finally caught the live. Yes, I think Tammy knew so much more. I mean, if it was my property and I already didn't trust him, I'd be nosy to see too. I mean, you know, this reminds me, actually, I don't know why. I was just watching The Reckoning on Netflix. I don't know if you guys checked it out. But at the very end, oh, maybe I can't tell you if you guys are watching it, but there's a part when the wife is starting to suspect the husband doing some shady stuff. That's kind of what just made me think of that, Queen V, what you were saying. But I don't know. Tammy might have just been blissfully ignorant in her home, and just because she kept inside, and Chad's off doing what he normally does. I mean, who knows, right? Thank you so much for the super chat, and welcome to the new members as well. I don't know. Maybe Tammy knew that he was being unfaithful too, and at this point it's just painful. Who knows, right? Thank you, Katie. Katie says, I absolutely love that you don't fall into this lame-brained way of looking at media. You push against the idiotic non-fact talking points by not relaying them. You stick to facts, no race war here. The thing is I want the facts because I want to get to the bottom of it, you know? And before the kids were found, I wanted to find the kids. And now, at this point, I want to make sure there's nothing left unturned. So if I can dig into a timeline, dig into this, show a pattern, show here, that's what I want to do. But I want to base it on facts because that's what truth is, right? So, and it's hard sometimes. I will say it's hard sometimes to decipher, is this truth or is this not truth? And sometimes you got to weed that out too. So, you know. Yeah, good question. I don't know. Marie says, are the followers female? There's probably a lot of them. I don't know what the ratio is. I really don't know. I'd have to find out with like at the prepper events and that kind of thing. Oh, Jackie, I see your question. So what this does is it actually jumps, so I can't always see. Yeah, there we go. Jackie says Tammy was still living there for almost 2 months with Tylee buried and then JJ in her own backyard. Okay, I read that one. And not only that, you have Tammy living in the house and you have the daughter across the street, right? So, I mean, when I read that with the affidavit with Alex Cox, I mean, they're out. I would like to know a few things about the Yellowstone first. And then he comes back, hangs out with Lori, goes back to his apartment, which was empty. Well, I don't know at that time what was in there, but I don't know. And then he goes back to Lori's house. And then he goes home, and then he goes to Chad's property. And he was there 4 times. What's interesting is when we find out in November if he was at Chad's. Remember, she got shot at on November 9th. They didn't mention that in this affidavit. Right? Marianne says, it's almost 3:30 a.m. in the UK, so off to bed, but thank you. Your explanations of things are really easy to understand. Oh, good. I'm glad you can. I'm glad it's good. I'm not glad it's 3:30 in the morning for you. Get some rest. But I'm glad it's easy for you to understand. I'm hoping that that's, you know, that it's easy. So thank you. And thank you for the super chat. Is the comments going slow to you guys or no? Because then I'm gonna have to look into that. But are you liking this setup a little bit better than the last one? Because that's good to know. Yeah, good. And what's with the rush moving into Chad's house, right? The family moves out, the next day the daughter moves right in. That is weird. Yes, Tammy got shot at. Jasmine says, didn't Tammy get shot at October 9th? Yes. Did I say November 9th? I meant October 9th. Oh, it's still going too fast. Okay, so I'll have to change the settings on that. I thought it did, but maybe because of my new software, I'm going to have to figure that out now. 2 steps forward, 1 back. Okay, thank you guys. I will look into that next on the comments. So we're getting there. But we do, to be fair, we have 6,800 people in here. So it might be a little fast, even if it's on slow-mo, but we'll see. You're right, though, because I got to scroll up, especially to highlight comments and whatnot. Sometimes I miss them because they're going by so fast. But we're living and learning. I'm upgrading little by little, so we'll learn. Amy One Hot Mess says, Melanie got married and pregnant pretty fast. Did she think that would save her from the people looking at her as being guilty? I mean, good question, but I don't know. I mean, she got married in 10 days, and that was part of she follows Melanie, or she follows Lori like a little shadow. I don't know. Maybe that was an oopsies. I don't know. Maybe she thought that would get her kids to her. I don't know. But thank you for that message, and thank you for the super chat. Lindell Hamilton says, Linda, is there any way you can look into Tammy's car going to the mechanic to see if at any stage Chad had tried to tamper with this first? He said she'll have a car crash and die. You make a really good point. And what they thought, both of them were going to have a car accident, Charles and Tammy. And then it didn't happen. Funny or interestingly, Brandon kind of did have a car accident in a sense, right? Because he was shot at. Vanessa says none of them are talking because they are waiting for the second coming of Christ this July. I know. I wonder what they thought when they're like, wait a minute. Our court dates are July 1st. Can it be the 24th, the 23rd of July, maybe? Maybe, perhaps. Right? Thank you, Annie. Annie says, love your channel. Thank you. Thanks for the super chat. I have lots to say on this, as you guys know, and I'm going to be ripping this apart. And the more we come, the more I keep going back to timelines. And I mean, I just write and write and write. And now we got to go back because we get new information and then we got to go back, right? But now some of these videos that I want to do is like, well, I can't do that anymore. I can't do this. So oh, this is interesting. Nicole says, Chad announced a vision to his congregation that he was going to marry another woman, and he said the woman was in the congregation. Lori was there.
That. Could you try again?
What? Oh.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
My phone started talking. I don't know what even happened. He said that woman was in the congregation. Lori was there. He was talking about Lori, and Tammy was there. Yeah, it's good. I'm going to be doing, I'll do another live stream on a case update so we can talk about Vanessa Guillen and all those other cases that I've been working on. And then, but we are deep diving on Lori Vallow. As you guys know, this is like, there's some crazy stuff happening. And I don't know. It makes it tough because you know, we've been diving into this, diving, and then the most horrific outcome last week happens with the kids, or 10 days ago. And now we're getting even a closer look of Alex Cox and a closer look at Chad and what he's really about, and Lori and Melanie and both Melanies. And it just really makes it crazy because you can see Janice Cox and Summer's like, no. No, Lori's not like that. Alex, he's not a killer. No, no. And it's like, either delusional or. Now, here's the other thing. How come Janice Cox said that she talked to JJ on October 1st? Covering for Lori because it wasn't JJ. So what happened there? Right? Mary says, I hope you didn't open a portal with your phone. Oh. I hope I didn't either. Chad's new portals is potty. I am doing a little emoji on the membership channel, on the memberships for that. Jerry says, do you feel Alex was killed by his wife? How could Chad and Lori do it from Hawaii? This is what's stumping me. Because when it first came out, the autopsy, I was like, okay, maybe it is natural because there's a history of pulmonary embolisms. And then we heard about the foam coming from Tammy's mouth, which is similar to what was said about Alex. And we can't ignore the fact that Tammy's body was exhumed on December 11th, and Alex died the very next day. So that's weird, right? Now, his wife, Zulema's been married, I just found out, 5 times, the same as Lori. We heard in the 911 call, she was just arriving home, we think. And when Joseph, the son, was like, yeah, my mom's just walking in the door, I think. I don't know if he was killed by his wife. I don't know. Chad and Lori were in Hawaii, you're correct. And so who's left, right? Who was visiting Alex that morning or the night before? Because Tammy died on the 19th, but Chad said she had a terrible cough the night before. But there were symptoms of Alex all week. He was having issues. So I'm not sure. This is, I really want the autopsy. I want them to find something on the autopsy so that we can see, like, connect the dots. Yes, my heart does too. It's been, I really, really held out hope. A lot of us held out hope that they were simply just being hidden. And they were. It's just not in the way we had hoped. Whole bunch belongs behind bars or in rubber rooms. I honestly, the more we hear this, all I keep seeing is the smirk. And I'm telling you guys, if Lori has a smirk that day in court, I'm going to snap my crayons. I'm just telling you now, I'm going to freak right out because I can't handle it. I can't handle if she's going to have that on her face. Right? If you guys see that, I'm going to lose it. Oh, that's so. CO Band says, Linda, it's 3:35 a.m. Again, another person late. I stayed up to tell you I'm sorry for the frantic message. No, that's okay. Thank you. You gave me the heads up about the affidavit. I appreciate it. No worries. Thank you so much. So for Zulema, I really don't have a lot of information on her, but we'll find out. Can you look into Mel P's post on Facebook about being lied to about her mom? I believe her dad tried to keep her away from that family. How did her mom die? Her mom died from diabetic shock and the stomach issue she had too. I can't remember the name right now. Dysparesis? Is that how you say it? I think. When was that post made? Over a week ago in my dream, I was seeing it from the person's perspective. I was awake and dazed. I couldn't breathe. I saw a male figure with a ski mask. It was Alex. I screamed, "Mom, help me." Oh my gosh. That would have been scary. I actually, in my dreams, not my dreams, but while I'm in the middle of the night, sometimes I work out in my head, the dates. It's pretty crazy. Like I'll wake up and then go, okay, this is on this date, and I try and work it out. So yeah, that's not fun. Thank you, Shan, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. Fleur de Bee Design says, now Alex is confirmed as involved. You should do a deep dive on Zulema. Thanks for all the work you do. Been binge watching all your videos. Thank you for watching. And thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I think now is the time we can start diving into Zulema. I've put it off because I'm trying to get these other ones. Two people I'm going to be diving in, or I'd like to, is Zulema and is Jason Mao, if I need to. But there's a couple that I've been curious about. Priscilla says maybe they should put Chad, Lori, Tisha, and Eduardo all in the same cell because they're batshit crazy. I did make some references to Letitia on Melanie Pulowski's Facebook post about the children. She did. There was a couple things I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even. I was so upset. Thank you, Deirdre. I'm so glad that Brandon got away when he did, because there's no telling what could have happened to him and the kids. Melanie equals Lori wannabe. Yeah, Melanie was like a shadow. And then when I heard today about she was in Hawaii with her, I just thought, of course, yeah, got to follow her there too. And Brandon's very, very, very fortunate, and his kids are very fortunate. And I don't know what's going to happen now. I think the most popular, when it comes to Ian, I'm going to bring up Ian for a sec. I think the most popular comment on my videos is "Run, Ian, run." Everybody has it, and they have like the little person running. So gastroparesis, that's it. Thank you. I can't believe I didn't remember that. So if you're just joining me, we have gone through Chad Daybell's arresting affidavit. We also have talked a little bit of info. I can call them info snacks if you're new on here. Just a little few tidbits that I found out. Like Melanie Pulowski was in Hawaii in October with Lori, and she's never mentioned that. We've never heard that before, but now Melanie Gibb is going to testify, and she's going to talk about that. So can we do a pattern on the 4 quick marriages? Yes, I'm going to be doing a pattern video. I do like the patterns, and there's all kinds of things starting to come to light. The more we find out, the more dates we find out and whatnot, the more patterns come out to play. My latest pattern was in the Melanie video about her. So no, the court date was changed to August. Boo. I bet he's happy. Yeah. Welcome to those new members into the crime ring. Welcome. Yeah, my heart. Oh, is Melanie Gibb Chad's other woman? Isn't she in Arizona? No, that she is in Arizona, but Melanie Gibb was going to Lori's house, and he was going somewhere else. Yeah, he thinks he won't be here in August. That's exactly it. So that's why I'm saying he's probably happy about that. And Charles, I mean, he tried to get her help from the beginning. He tried to get her help from the beginning. I just keep thinking about Lori's face and her smirk. And all those times that she's happy while the children are gone. And interesting about Colby, which, by the way, thank you to all of you who have donated to Colby's GoFundMe. Hang on, because my lips are super dry. Talking too much. They're super grateful, and I'm super grateful for this community because you guys are so loving and so supportive. So I just want to give you a shout out. But Colby, it seems she distanced herself from Colby because I feel like Colby would call her on her crap. You know, she didn't tell him that they were going to Rexburg. She lied to him about Charles, saying, you know what, Charles was actually had a heart attack. No, he didn't. You know what the crazy thing is? Charles, Alex shot Charles 4 times. 4 times. The medic says, I think it was the medic or the police officer in the cam was like, he counted them. He's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. 4. It's disgusting. Algo says, first, it's pesos. People were asking, right? Second, charge them all from Janice to Mel P to Lori and Chad. Mel G may be dumb, naive, but isn't involved. Third, this made me sick, so I'm getting out and catching the rest tomorrow. Congrats on 80,000. Thank you, Algo One. Thank you so much. Interesting, when I was looking about on Janice, when she was talking about the phone call, and when her and Summer did the interview, from what I understand, the authorities actually went with a warrant to her house after the interview. But I don't know too much more about that. So Angela asks, why wasn't Colby a target? I think because he was rated light. And I think well, JJ was too in the beginning. However, remember, Melanie came over, and then all of a sudden Lori's like, see, he's turned into a zombie. So they just make up whatever they want to go along with whatever they want. This is I can't wait to see the shocked look on Chad's face when he walks into that courtroom in August. It'll be priceless when he has to come to grips that he's a false prophet. He's a lot of falseness, isn't he? I mean, how do they even just keep going? Like, Missy Cat says, I heard twice in the chest. Well, on the body cam, I watched it, and I saw it was either the medic or the authorities literally say 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, I think. And he counted it like 4 in the chest. Because I heard twice too, but I saw the cam and he counted 1, 2, 3, 4, and I thought, you gotta be kidding me. Is Melanie P's dad alive? Yes. Shelly says, please go over all the lies Gib told at the police station. Yeah, I'll have to go through that as well. Once we get new info, I go back, and then new info and I go back. Melissa says, I just really hope the world doesn't end on July 22nd. I'm going to need to get me some Ben and Jerry's. On the 22nd, we're going to have a big party on here. We can celebrate them sitting in jail, and hopefully charges will be upgraded. And you know what the sad thing is too? Tylee didn't even want to go to Rexburg. Tylee wanted to stay. She wanted to stay back. She was worried about her brother. So rightly so. I can see her wanting to go, like for him. But I mean, Kay Woodcock asked, can I have JJ? Like, can I have him? And Lori has to be so maniacal and so vindictive that instead of giving these two children a better life somewhere else, she had to take it away. And then she acts like nothing's wrong. Oh, link for, sure, here's the link, you guys, for the affidavit if you want to take a look at it again. And not only that, Kay, about the smiling and smirking. She's taking, Chad Daybell takes his kids to Disneyland. And after their mother died, Tammy Daybell, she's making cookies in her kitchen for Chad's children. And Colby didn't even know she got married to Chad. Why? Because she knew that Colby probably has a pretty good BS meter, I'm thinking. And that's why she lied to him. She's not going to tell him the truth. Oh, yeah, Charles died from a heart attack. Because if he heard what the truth was, right from the get-go, he'd be all over that. Now, Lori and Alex have a brother named Adam Cox. Adam Cox was warning Melanie Pulowski, saying Alex killed Charles, which she did, but they said he killed him. And there was warning way before. And Zach Cox is Adam's son. Zach was living with Lori and Charles, and you could see that on his body cam. I have a Charles Vallow video with the body cam, and he talked about how Zach Cox lived there with him. And Zach took it to Twitter. And at the end of April, after Melanie Pulowski did her Dateline episode, and he said, she is lying. She knows where the children are. She's lying. And he was quite adamant about that. He said, let me just find it. Oh, I might not. maybe I have it. Yeah. He says, Melanie is a liar and she damn well knows where JJ and Tylee are. Disappointed they'd have her on, meaning NBC. I understand ratings, but she is involved in these deaths, attempted murders, and missing kids. He also says, they are all crazy and they will never accept the truth and will find a way to blame it on something else. They've always been like that, though, so them coming out and saying what they said doesn't surprise me. It's infuriating that they would disrespect Charles like that. And that was before the children were found. So, welcome to the new members. Welcome. We're still 6,400 strong in here. Thank you so much for joining me on a Friday night. Although for some people, every day is Friday night because we're still at home. Yes, this is what's crazy and so sad. Lori was making cookies and her kids were buried in the pet cemetery. Yeah. And she's smiling. You like cookie? Would you like a cookie? I'll be your new mom. It's really, really disturbing. Super disturbing. And you know what? We call a lot of times, like in a lot of the stories and a lot of the news we hear, men killing their family, right? I mean, whoever did it with their own hands, I mean, to me, she's a family annihilator, to me, in my opinion. Claire says, it's because of Melanie G. I despise the word discern. I'll happily use BS meter from now on. I know. Discernment, there is marinate. Let's marinate, or let that marinate. And there was another thing that they use a lot of. It has to do with truth too. Discernment and something else. There's a few things, and I've used it now. Like I start saying, let's marinate on that because I get angry. Frank says, happy to spend Friday night with you, Linda. I hope they lock them all up and they can celebrate the end of times together through their portal potties. Yes, sir. I agree. Not surprised, still so heartbroken. I must confess to my own unchristian thoughts. She smirks and I want to grab her by the hair. I know. Sending love and light. Yes, you too, to you too. Thank you so much to all of you. I don't know if I can slow my chat down. I know you guys are asking that. I did do it in the settings in YouTube, but maybe because of this, I have to do something else. I'm so sorry, but part one is, I mean, this is great. I can have comments on here. It scrolls really fast, so I'm having a hard time even doing that, but one step for mankind. Yeah, exactly. Even Stephen King is stunned. Isn't that the truth? Basically, people are asking about the affidavit. So basically, they pinged Alex's cell phone to numerous places and puts him right at the place of Chad Daybell's property. And they explained finding JJ and Tylee and the moments before, the hours before. And if you guys want to, you can just check out there, and it does have the affidavit. Flirt B Design says maybe Chad will sing hymns like Brian David Mitchell did in court in the Elizabeth Smart case. I didn't see that. I'm going to look it up. Manglia says, thank you for all you do, Linda. Can you tell Mr. Linda that my hubby and I are fellow medics? Awesome. I will tell him. Thank you. Recap. Okay. If you're just joining me, we were talking about Chad Daybell's unsealed arrest affidavit. I read it out loud. I will have this available when we're done. You'll be able to see it. And I read right through it. Then I talk a bit about some other things, like Melanie Pulowski was actually in Hawaii with Lori Vallow Daybell in October 2019. Melanie Gibb is going to testify in the Brandon Boudreau case about that. And I've given a few other little things and insights tonight. So, and then we're just hanging out and I'm asking or answering questions. And we're also celebrating 80,000 subscribers. Lori made cookies for Chad's kids after the funeral, but one report says Chad told his kids he met a widow in Hawaii and got married. Which one is it? So it was Lori and Chad got married on November 5th. But before that, right, Tammy Daybell she dies. I don't want to say is killed yet. Tammy Daybell dies October 19th. Right after the funeral, yeah, they said, exactly, you make a good point. You make a good point, because he says they got married in Hawaii. He met her in Hawaii. You're right. But I don't know which family. I got to re-look at which family he told that he met a widow in Hawaii. Like, was it the kids? Was it Tammy's family? Because there was a couple things going on there. And he told his dad, he told his parents that she was a widow. Yeah, good point. But perhaps it's after they got back and married and they called it after the funeral. We don't know the date, right? Hi, Jason. Nice to see you. Christina says, why weren't Chad's kids targets? Because it didn't fit his narrative. He wanted to get rid of, and his kids are older. His kids are older as well. He's a grandpa. Chad's a grandpa. Isn't, like, what a beacon of light he is. Stephen asks, do you think that a ping with Alex shooting at Tammy? Oh, if there is a ping, I don't know. The weird thing is they didn't say anything about October. They mentioned September only, but that doesn't mean it's not coming. Thank you, all of you, for super chats. If I haven't said that, thank you so much. I'm trying to learn this new software. So do you know what happened in the 58-day period Lori disappeared? I haven't heard much about it. In those 58 days that she took off, part of it was spent in Hawaii, and that was confirmed by April Raymond. And another part of it, she was at Alex Cox's house. And they had a drag-out fight in the middle of the street, is how it was worded. And they thought it was like husband and wife fighting. Chad killed his wife last and his kids weren't on the zombie radar. We know Tylee's father didn't have a good reputation. Does bloodline have something to do with who has the ability, more acceptability of darkness? I think so, that in my own opinion that I'm seeing, because if you have like Joseph Ryan and Tylee was rated dark, but Colby was rated light. But Colby's wife was rated dark. My opinion was because Lori may have not liked Colby's wife too much or found her a threat. So she's dark, you know, in my opinion. Mel asks, my question is, how did the police attain Alex's phone? I would have thought that either Alex's new wife would have had ownership of it or Lori, and why didn't Lori dispose of it to hide info? Good question. I don't know. We will hopefully find out that soon. Do they have a rubric for how they judge people's souls, or is it just based on Chad's word? Well, they have a rubric, but it's Chad's rubric. And they were talking about it. I talked about this in my video, or one of my videos, because they were shedding some insight. It had to do with part of it was like libido and your energy and a couple other factors in his mind. So yeah, Kathy says Alex was dumb enough to use Charles V registered Jeep to try to kill Brandon. So he was trying to kill Tammy in rural house driveway too. That's the thing. It's so brazen, right? He used the vehicle that Tylee normally used, and it was registered to Charles to go over and shoot Brandon. And then in the middle of the day, Tammy gets shot at in the driveway on a busy street. So Lori and Chad and Alex are murderers and co-conspirators, all of them guilty. Yeah. And I want to know what Melanie Pulowski knows, because she knows something, because she circles too much, in my opinion. And there's a major discrepancy. Did you guys see my video on, I think it was my Melanie versus Melanie video, actually. And I talked about the discrepancies of them, but I also talked about something that really bothers me. And it's her description of the kids having a perfect bedroom the weekend she went down. I'd like to know what weekend that was that she went down. She said it was set up perfectly. But that same weekend that we were just talking about earlier, when Melanie Gibb came over on September 19th to the 23rd, that same weekend was when the nanny from care.com came over. And the nanny described the home that there's no evidence that Tylee was even living there. And she also said that JJ just had toys in his room, and his mattress was in Lori's bedroom in the corner. It was a thin mattress. So I don't know about set up perfectly in her mind what that definition is, but it certainly isn't the same description as what the babysitter gave. And the babysitter doesn't have, why would she lie, right? There's no reason to lie. Yeah. So glad Chad's not my God. Wonder if there's more to the relationship of Alex Cox and his sister Lori. You know, a lot of people have asked that. A lot of people have asked that. I don't know. It just, well, I mean, first he's very protective of her to the point of like, hey, you know what? Yeah. You want your husband dead of 13 years? Yeah, no problem. Oh, your kids? Yeah, no problem. Who else? Chad's wife? Yeah. Okay, no problem. It's weird. And there was that drag out fight that was described by the people surrounding, saying, man, I thought it was his wife. And I thought that was a husband and wife. Well, it turns out they're brother and sister. I don't know. I mean, it is weird in general because he slept over there a lot when he had his own house. But I mean, family can do that, right? I mean, it's not that weird. But a lot of people have talked about that, actually. Melanie Pulowski was in Hawaii. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, I don't know. So now if Chad's hearing's pushed, I wonder why they pushed it. Danielle says, hey, just tuning in, what's all happened or more information? Yeah, there's a ton of information. I did a reading of the unsealed affidavit for Chad Daybell. We talked a little bit also about some new developments, so to speak, where Melanie Pulowski was in Hawaii with Lori Vallow Daybell in October. I don't know the dates yet, but I am going to be climbing into that to find out, and we'll be able to get to the bottom of it. So thank you for the super chat. People keep asking, they want to know why Chad's kids weren't zombies. Well, for Chad, I mean, his agenda, he's the one who started all the zombie chart, right? So for him, it's like, well, Charles has to be a zombie because you got to get him out of the way. Tylee was already rated dark, so, well, we know what happened to her. And JJ was light, but then he had to go dark because that fits what he wanted. So this is giant manipulation, really, which is ridiculous because the kids could have just easily gone to Larry and Kay's, or Tylee go with Colby or whatever. Tylee was 16 years old, just about to turn 17. You know? Why? Yes, that too. Adrienne says, and we have to remember Lori started treating Colby like he was her boyfriend. Exactly. And that's why I think Kelsey was rated dark. Which is weird, right? Super weird. Wish I could highlight this. I can't find it, Adrienne. That's why I was trying to find your comment. It's this new software is awesome, but it's hard to find sometimes the comment. Affidavit link is right here. I don't know if Melanie P went to the wedding. I don't think so. The reason why I'm saying that possibly is because they're talking about Melanie P going to Hawaii in October. But Melanie Pulowski was actually seen on camera, or I guess by surveillance, by Rich Robertson. He's the private investigator Brandon hired. She was seen on October 31st in Arizona, packing up with Alex Cox, packing up the, rental van, the moving van, to go down to Idaho. So unless she went again in November, it would have to be a few days after November that she would have had to flown back. So, I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm really upset with how the police handled the Alex Charles shooting. I think a lot of us are. I'm not sure if you were in here earlier, but Charles was shot 4 times in the body cam. That's what it says. The guy count is like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 4, I think. And it's just like, are you kidding me? Norma says, I'm lost. So were kids disposed of before wedding? Yes. 2 months before the wedding. Month and a half. I need an FAQ section. You can go to I have a video called Who's Who at the Zoo on this case. And it might help you because I explain who's who at the zoo. Elaine says, I think Colby was from first husband and adopted by Ryan. Colby was from the second husband and adopted by Joseph Ryan. There's some weird things about that too, because Lori was pregnant when she got married to Colby's dad, and it wasn't long after that they actually split. But when Colby was born, and I believe it was April, Lori had his birth record as Lori Noreen Cox. She had listed as the mother and nothing as the father. And it was Colby Cox as the baby. So there's a story behind there. There's probably a story everywhere Lori goes. So, yeah, Shelly, good point. When you fight with your husband, you usually don't call your brother to come stay that night. It's a recipe for disaster. But here's what we learned recently. We recently learned through Melanie Gibb that Alex 100% believed in zombies, 100%. And he believed Charles was a zombie. So what do you do with zombies? You get rid of them, just like they even outlined in the affidavit. And you get rid of them, and you certainly don't resuscitate them. So he goes, he shoots Charles, and they act like it's just another day, and they have a pool party in the afternoon. And it's just so whacked. Where's the daughter's real dad? Tylee, her real dad, her biological dad is dead. Her stepdad is dead. So Tylee's biological father is Joseph Ryan. He's husband number 3. He's dead. He died in 2018. And then Tylee's stepdad, Charles, died in July 2019, a year later. Right? Ever hear of divorce, adoption? Clearly not. Yeah, Rebecca made a really good point. Lori couldn't allow to give up JJ and Tylee. That would mean she wouldn't get their money. And she was getting $6,000 a month. So, how did Joseph die? It was said that he had a heart attack, I think it was. But he was found, I want to say a week later in his apartment. And there was drama around that too. Lori didn't even call Annie Cushing, who we've seen her in the media. She didn't even call her. And she's known her for how many years? And I think she finally contacted her like in 4 weeks later, because Lori was actually the next of kin. And so they contacted her, and she didn't even tell anybody. It's like the family. It's just super sad. And yeah, I believe that Tylee was getting money from Joseph Ryan after his death, but I'm not sure if it was when she turned a certain age or not. I'm not sure. Alex did tase Joseph, but it was way before that. And then Alex had to go to jail for 90 days because of that. PAD says the affidavit doesn't say Alex killed the kids. Maybe it was Alex, Lori, or both. You're right. It doesn't say that. It just has his phone pinging on the location. Lori might have just left her phone at home that day. What I find interesting is on the weekend that Melanie Gibb was there with her boyfriend, what happened in the middle of the night? And then they wake up and ask where JJ is. Like, that's why that night, you know? Although I did bring up September 23rd is a very significant date for Chad Daybell. And so I'm sure Tammy's grandmother, Lucille, spoke to him and told him what to do on the 23rd, which after midnight would be the 23rd, right? Yeah, Joseph Ryan died in, I believe it was April 2018. Yeah, her income was $6,000 per month after Charles died. That's what Nate Eaton said, and then Melanie says, yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, do you think it's possible that these people will get away with murder like the Casey Anthony case? Seems like nearly the same. Not if I can help it. I hope not. I really do. I mean, I hope not. I mean, there's so much on this, though. No, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Unless July 22nd happens and the second coming happens, and, you know. Trinity says, congratulations on 80,000 subscribers. I'm a YouTube creator too. I cover much different topics. You're awesome at this. Thank you so much. Oh, that's funny. Trinity, red or blue pill? Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here. That's funny because in April I went and did I had to get oral surgery done, and they gave me these blue pills, and I was laughing because I was like, oh, it's like the Matrix. This is the red or the blue, and then I couldn't remember which one was which, so I looked up. It was like, oh, blue pill, blissfully ignorant, or ignorance, right? I was like, I'll take it. If you guys need the link again to the affidavit, I'll give it to you there. And welcome to new members as well who are just joining my crime ring, the membership too. Happy to have you on board. Who are JJ's biological parents? So Kay Woodcock, as you know, is JJ's grandma. Her son is the biological father of JJ. What do we know about Alex's wife? Wouldn't she be talking more? I guess that's silly to think considering the type of monsters we're talking about. Yeah, I don't have a deep dive on her yet. I do know she's been married 5 times. I do know that her son didn't know they were married and didn't even know Alex's last name. Oh, good night, Sonia. Yes, Kay was Charles's sister. Adrienne says, after everything we see suspicious of Ryan's death, I think everything around Lori Vallow, Daybell is suspicious these days. I mean, I wonder if they're just going to keep Coleman back on, and Chad Daybell as well. I did see a body cam of Alex Cox the day that Charles got killed. And he was just like walking into he's like, hanging out in the back seat of the cop car, driving. They're chit-chatting about his job and just, like la-di-da. He's like, hey, so how hot's that Kevlar vest? Oh, da-da-da. And they're just talking like nothing happened. Like, oh, no big deal. Just shot my brother-in-law who I've known for 13 years and la-di-da. So anyway, how hot does the Kevlar get? It's just crazy. And Alex Cox went after Joseph Ryan, stunned him twice, went to jail for 90 days, and then wrote some letters back and forth about, hey, let's get, Joseph Ryan's license plate and we'll go after him and blah, blah, blah. It's just sad to see Charles pleading for help for how long, and then he ends up dying because he wants to do the right thing for the kids. Yep, I agree. The 911 call when Alex killed Charles was horrific. No feeling. Yep. And he certainly didn't perform CPR, even though he's talking like he was. And, I mean, why would you resuscitate a zombie in his mind? All right, let's keep reading. Did Lori know Chad when Joseph died? She started reading Chad's books in 2015, and she was infatuated with them. I don't know. We were told they met in person in October of 2018. Joseph would have died 6 months before that. But I don't know. I mean, we don't know, really. Although Melanie Gibb said that they met that day, that's when Chad said, oh, like in October, oh, we've been married 5 times before. If you want to read the affidavit, I'll give you it right there. You can read it. They will blame Alex and Tammy maybe for the murders, and their defense will be, we put the bodies on our property, always be close to them. I wonder what's going to happen, hey? I mean, the easy way for them is to put blame on them because they can't talk, they can't speak up for themselves, right? Yeah. I'm so mad that Chad and Lori is so stupid to think people are zombies. Chad is a devil. Yeah. I mean, how convenient, Chad. Oh, you're having problems with your son's wife? Oh, yeah, zombie. Oh, you're having a problem with your daughter? Zombie. Oh, Charles, zombie. Brandon Boudreaux, zombie. And, oh, let's talk about this for a minute. The episode with, I think it's 48 Hours it was, I think, with Ian, or maybe it was Dateline, one of them, in an interview. Ian and Melanie are sitting there, and she's asked about being a zombie, and she circles around the whole thing and talks about, I think it was about Brandon. She talks about him and doesn't address the zombie comment at all. She does that a lot in her interviews. check out my playlist if you guys want to see, and you haven't seen those, or you need to brush up on on it because it's been a while. Check out my videos where I have like the latest on Melanie's and the different patterns. Some I might have to bring back so that we could dive deep more than now that we know the newest information. Cherish says, I want to see the relationship between Alex and Chad. Well, looks like it's a lot closer than we thought, right? With the affidavit that I read earlier. If both of them hanging out together, well, we did see them in the storage unit together too, just a little buddy, and it's disgusting. Here's the other thing. The kids are gone on the 8th and the 22nd. Why are they waiting till November or end of October to bring in Tylee and JJ's stuff in the storage unit? It's weird. I guess maybe because she was in Hawaii. I don't know. It's weird. Tammy says Melanie Gibb is nervous and Melanie P is emotionless. I believe they know more. It's a waiting game now with them. Well, for Melanie P, you know that looks like almost hereditary, doesn't it? No emotion. Local News 8 news stream Chad Daybell article tonight. Crime Tracker. Okay, is that on about the affidavit? Can we have a live feed of both their faces on July 21st? I don't know, but we can have a big group on the July 22nd. We'll have a big live stream. Oh, welcome to the new members coming aboard on the Crime Ring. Happy to have you aboard. Is Alex Colby's real dad? I don't even know what to say to that. There's something going on with Lori with that. I don't know that makes me nervous. Bet all the Coxes is cray. That's why Mel's dad kept her away. Was Alex Mel's mom's caretaker and ran her credit card up when she died? Congrats on the 80K. There's some stuff going on I was reading earlier about Melanie and her mom and dad. And it seemed that her dad wanted to take her away from her mom because of certain things. I don't know. Was Alex Melanie's mom's caretaker? What was interesting, I don't know. I think Melanie's mom actually was spending time at Janice and Barry's house. And so I wonder how, I'd have to do the math on how old Alex was at the time. So I think Melanie was 6. So I feel like Alex would have been like in the 20s, I think. I agree. Zach Cox is not crazy. I'm sure they meant like the Cox, like the ones that are involved or whatever. Yeah, you're right. People keep saying Lori was wonderful and then she changed. All I see is evidence of a manipulative, greedy liar all along. I agree. People did say she was wonderful. They did. They said, I don't get it. She was wonderful, but we see a lot of people be wonderful. And then when the doors close, they're not so wonderful, right? Who is Zach Cox? Zach Cox is Lori's nephew. Lori's brother, Adam, his son is Zach. Thank you, Carrie. She says, love you, Lindo. You're the greatest. Thanks for all the work and devotion. You would be one of the greatest investigators and watch all your shows. Thank you. Yeah, there's something up with Emma. She had a blog a while ago, and I was reading a little bit about it. It's weird how as soon as Chad's arrested and the family moves out of the house, Emma moves in. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she's being protective, or I don't know. It's a little odd, but then, I mean, I don't know. Emma Daybell is Chad's daughter. She's the one we saw sticking her tongue out at the media when they were doing a report, and she was behind, like making faces and sticking her tongue out. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you so much. Welcome aboard. TV show would be interesting, wouldn't it? This is a good question. What is Lori's brother Adam saying about this? I haven't heard anything yet. However, I find it interesting that when there was a statement made with after the kids were found, Ian, Melanie Pulowski, Janice, and Summer issued a statement, which sounded very lawyerish, in my opinion. Right away, it's like, well, Adam's certainly not with that. I think Adam's on his own opinion. I think he is more aware than those guys and doesn't want his name on there. Thank you, Sharon, so much. You know? No, Lori is not JJ's biological mother. Kay Woodcock is the grandmother of JJ. Her son is the biological father of JJ. And the father and mother weren't married when JJ was born, my understanding. And they had a drug problem. And so Kay and Larry took care of JJ. And then Charles and Lori adopted JJ. What freaks me out is if Chad's going to spend as little time in jail, 10 years, and then he's going to get out and write his book. Well, there was a petition to get his books off. Jessica says, I love the fingerprint by my name. So cute. Yeah, that's after you go a little bit in your membership, a few months in, you start changing. Like you start off with a siren, and then you go into a magnifying glass. And then I think the third month has it been third month already? is a fingerprint, and then it changes at 6 months, and then it changes at a year. Catherine says, I just can't get over the injustice for Charles. Law enforcement should have listened to him. That's the thing, right? That's the thing. I saw more body cam footage about that because he's just like, guys, please just tell me what to do. I'm concerned about my wife. I love her to death, he says. She just, what's the word he used? She's nonsensical. And he just tried to get her help. And now he knew something was going on. She was calling him Ned Snyder or Nick Snyder. It changed. And if only Lori would have known that Charles changed the beneficiary, would things have been different? I don't know. D. Benny says, so when I see amounts of $5 or $3, are they subscriptions or donations to your channel? Those are donations that you see when it highlights in green, that is the memberships. That is different tiers. It starts off at $2 and you get perks for that. There's a video too, so it explains all the tiers. Lord Give Me Strength says, can you imagine how Colby feels tonight knowing everyone is aware that his little sister was cut up and burned? How do you deal with that? Oh, I think Colby, I can't say how he feels because I'm not him. I do know that they are super overwhelmed with grief. I do know that for a fact. I don't know how he's going to deal with the healing. Because in his world, it has absolutely crumbled. His sister and brother are gone and killed. And his stepdad was killed. And his other adopted dad died within 2 years. So, and also his uncle Alex. And he is, I'm sure, struggling because even his mom lied to him over and over and over and over. Lied. And now she's in jail, and now he's seeing this unfolding. So I hope Colby, he has his wife and he has his baby and he has his mother-in-law that I know of. And I hope he just gets a lot of hugs and a lot of support because he's going to need it. And for those of you who've seen, I put out his GoFundMe. I didn't create it. His mother-in-law did, but I aired it on a video 2 days ago. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, and it just skyrocketed. So I'm super grateful for everybody who donated. I'm really grateful, and I did too. I donated as well, and to help Colby through this in some way, so he can do what he feels he needs to. But yeah, I can't imagine. It's the unthinkable. And how do you even, just losing a loved one is hard. And then you're finding out that you've been betrayed and the circumstances of what happened. And it's just painful. I can't even, I wouldn't be able to describe the pain. I haven't been through that, but I can only imagine the pain. So. And his mother is now in jail. And she cut off ties with him to talk to him. And so for the longest time, he's just wondering, I don't understand why my mom won't talk to me, right? Yeah, so Sandra says, Adam Cox knows a great deal about Charles Vallow's death. You're right. He told Alex that Charles was going to contact Tammy Daybell about Lori and Chad. That's why Lori took Charles' phone that morning. Yeah, Charles sent the email to Adam saying, look at this. Look what your sister's up to. I don't know what she's up to, but look. And that was the email that was sent to Chad from Charles, but Charles didn't write it. Lori did. And Adam warned Melanie Pulowski with Brandon saying, oh my gosh, like Alex killed Charles. And she said she didn't want to believe it. She still doesn't want to believe it. I'm not happy with her statement. I think if she did the first 2 paragraphs or whatever it was, the first little bit, and then just stopped right there, she'd be fine. And a birdie said that she actually took down that Facebook post now. But I ripped into it yesterday on the video. Donna says Tylee's bio dad has 2 more sons. Charles has 2 other sons. Colby is 23, I think. He's in his early 20s. Cheryl Doss says, great reporting commentaries. Thank you so much. Starting to wind down now tonight. I'll be doing another video coming up, of course. Tara says, I may take 2 weeks vacation to watch the trial. I'll keep you in the loop. I'll keep you in the loop. Yeah, okay, Cassie says Colby's 24. I thought it was 23 or 24. I guess he would have just turned 24 in April, right? Danielle says, been here since beginning and I'm finally a member. Yay! Welcome aboard. What is the GoFundMe for that Colby has going? He has, well, his mother-in-law put up a GoFundMe to help him out. There's all kinds of things that happen with his vehicles, and for travel money, he's lost his job. Well, this was even just before all this went down with finding the kids. So imagine how incredibly hard that is. And so, and with Lori, I'm sure he's going to probably want to be there in July for the upcoming trials, and now maybe August. So travel, just help him out. Tardy Tina says, am I the only one who finds Chad nauseating? Nope. Probably 80,000 people. Yeah, woohoo, 80,000. I'm gonna stay on a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna call it for a night. I have some prepping for videos to do, and hang out. Linda says, the relationships are so many and so complicated, we need a chart to keep everybody straight. You're so right. I did do a video called Who's Who at the Zoo to try and explain all the people. Mortgage Gal says, I feel so terrible that Larry and Kay are hearing all these horrid details. I know. And Larry and Kay, if it had not been for them, this all investigation wouldn't have happened. Like, so I give them huge, all they wanted was JJ, and they opened their door to Tylee too. Just all they wanted was that, and why this other option had to be an option, I'll never, ever know. I'll never know. What province am I in? I am in Alberta. If you go in the beginning of this live stream, I did the affidavit. Crystal, no, we do not. She says, we know how they were buried, but do we know how they were actually killed? No, we do not. We do not know those details yet. And here's the link to the affidavit. Linda Mann says, how are they sure it was Alex there with his cell? In the affidavit, the Lieutenant Ron Ball said that he ascertains that, in this day and age, and his knowledge and his expertise, that people typically keep their phones with them, is how he worded it, ish. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. I did do the, there's the link if you want to read it, and they talked about that. But William asks, is Alberta pretty? Well, I could tell you British Columbia is right to the west of Alberta. And I guess Alberta has a bit. I grew up in British Columbia, so it's a lot more prettier than Alberta. But Alberta has its moments. Welcome to the new members. Thank you, Teresa. Let me just highlight that comment. It jumps around in this new software. Did Alex have a life insurance policy? And if so, who got it? I don't know that detail yet. I'm dying to know that detail. I want to know. Maybe Lori got it. Wouldn't that be something to find out? Yes. SSS says those people who had to discover the children, the people who had to write the affidavits, tragedy upon tragedy upon trauma upon trauma. 100,000% agree with you. And I can speak as a wife of a first responder. What they have to see shouldn't be upon anybody. And I know for sure my husband, as you lovingly call him, Mr. Linda, some of the things that he's had to see is not a natural death. And it scars you, especially children. And it's not just, how do I word this? It's also the people close to the investigation that are affected. The world is affected, but the trauma the family goes through, number one. But here is, you make a very, very good point. Those who had to discover the kids and investigate it and now be a mile high into it, you know what I mean? And diving in, and the details are going to come out. And it's sad. It's really sad. And I agree. I mean, sometimes we forget. Sometimes we forget about the responders and the investigators because, you know, maybe they've been around it. But I can tell you, Mr. Linda's been doing his job for 16, 17 years, and he's still affected, especially children. And it's not good. I don't know how he does it. I really, really don't. Yeah, so, whew, how are you guys doing? There's still 4,600 strong in here on a Friday night. I'm starting to get a little creaky. Princess says, I think you'll be gathering 144,000 followers by July 22nd. Well, we got to beat Lori on that one. Lori can't win. Yes, my young son is a first responder. It's a tough thing for a mama also. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Oh my goodness, bananas ban. I'm joining late. What's the update? Whew. I read out the unsealed arresting affidavit for Chad Daybell. I'm going to post it in the comments in there. I also did an update a little bit about Melanie Pulowski, and she was in Hawaii, according to court documents, in October with Lori Vallow Daybell. So that's a big thing. The arresting affidavit, like I said, is in there. After I'm finished this live stream, which is going to be in a few minutes here, it'll process, and then you'll be able to watch the whole thing, and I read right through it. And there's just caution. There is a couple spots it's not so good to hear, but it is enlightening in other areas. As we know, it really brings to light Alex Cox and his phone pings and where his phone was located. ZZH asks, how far apart were Tammy's death and the kid's death? It sounded like 5 people dead in 1 year, less than 1 year. July 11th, Charles Vallow. September 8th, Tylee Ryan. September 23rd, JJ Vallow. October 19th, Tammy Daybell. December 12th, Alex Cox. 5 months. From me to mom says, I'm still friends with the first responder who came when my son passed away. That's really special. And I'm really sorry about your son. What was really a neat story is my husband was doing, he teaches CPR, and online and offline. On his he is like a side business doing that. And he kept looking at this one guy, and this guy kept looking at him like they knew each other. And he was giving, learning CPR for his little one. And he came up and thanked him after, because he said, remember who I am? And he tells him a bunch of story, and he says, yeah, I flatlined, and you brought me back to life, and I'm taking your course to teach, for my daughter to be safe. And so it was a special moment. It was a special moment with the first responders and the family, and I don't know, a lot of first responders don't get to see the families after. And so a lot of them think about the families and don't have that, they don't have that connection. I'd be a horrible first responder because I'd be like, wait, I want to know what happened to grandma over there. Like, is grandma okay? What's grandma doing? And my husband's like, yeah, you'd totally be fired the first day. So I know I would. Mimi says, Linda, can you explain how to join? Join the membership. I'll give you guys the link, and it'll have a video that you can see what it's all about. I also have merch as well, and I just got one made with Let's Get Into It. There you go. I just posted that. Hopefully that shows up that you can just easily click. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to get going. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate every single one of you taking time out, hanging out with me, and I'll be coming back soon. So I will say I'm going to be doing another live stream with an update on the other cases because I need to do a case catch up. So we'll do that, and then you can stay tuned for my next videos on this case because I'm ripping them apart. I am still doing the Melanie Gibb video that with her statement, so it's going to be a couple things. Stephanie says, wonder what they told JJ about where Tylee was. I know. And no wonder why his behavior was acting up, because he wants to know where his sister is. It's heartbreaking. So thank you also for the super chat. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I love you lots, and stay tuned for more, and we will chat soon. Have a good night. Bye.